Today on Fandomentals, we're joined by the powerhouse talent, Vincent M. actor, creator, and fan favorite from The Walking Dead, Devilreaux, and so much more. Hey, what's going on?
Hey, man, that was a good intro, man. I appreciate it. Thank you, Callie.
Well, appreciate you taking your time to come on and get the interview. Like, we're super pumped, super excited. I've known about you, man, for a long time. I'm a big Walking Dead fan, so
yeah. That little show.
Yeah, that little show.
It's just a tiny little thing, just a little blip,
A little thing.
Yeah. I mean, you had a pretty emotional death, man. I mean, if it wasn't for you, Glenn and Maggie wouldn't have made it as far as they went to. So.
Well, I wish it would have been Glenn and Maggie instead of me.
Yeah.
I'm like, why? I gotta try to save them. The hell? But I told Lou Temple, he played Axel. I said, man, they got me leaving the prison, and I don't think I'm coming back. He's like, what? What did you hear? I said, I ain't hear nothing. I just got a feeling I'm not coming back. And voila, I didn't make it back.
Dang.
But it was powerful. It was powerful.
Yeah.
Well, we got some questions for you, and as typical, we'll let Tay kind of kick us off.
All right. So the very first thing to kind of start off all of our questions is I saw that you wrote a book called The Stepdaddy. So I kind of wanted you to talk about what that is, and then what was your reasoning to writing it?
Wow, The Stepdaddy. The Stepdaddy is actually a remake from the old movie, The Stepfather. All right.
Okay.
So I actually wrote the book, right? And we filmed the movie. The movie comes out this year with either Grindstone or Lionsgate, even though they're the same people, whatnot. So yeah, we filmed the movie in 2020, but of course we got hit with the good old pandemic. So that threw a lot of things off. And just like for The Stepdaddy or Devilreaux, my whole thing of writing stuff is I got tired of getting killed off on things. So it's like, okay, if I create it, I'd be damned if I kill myself off.
Right.
So, so I used to like the movie The Stepfather, and I always wanted to play that type of character. So I just called it The Stepdaddy. But honestly, and I'm not, even though I've written some stuff, I still don't consider myself as a writer. I consider myself as an entertainer, as a creator. But I definitely like the book better than I like the movie.
Okay.
And this is the truth. And the reason that they end up not using what I wrote for the book is because it would have cost too much. So, you always try to save and cut down on the budget.
Right.
But still, if you want it done right, you might have to pay for it to be done right.
I mean, it seems like the pretty common thing you hear too when there's books and the movies are made. People always say the books are better. Always.
Yeah.
There's so much left out.
And I'm gonna tell you something that's even crazier. I hate reading. I hate reading. So when I had to keep going back and look at what I wrote, I'm like, this is gonna take forever because I hate reading. And even for scripts, I don't care what project I'm in, I never read the entire script. I only read my parts. It's just look, right here. This is, you see about 3 or 4 pages. And that's just the stuff that I'm in. I'm not printing out the whole doggone, I don't have nothing to do with it. So
that's amazing.
That's just me. At the end of the day, I'll watch it just like everybody else is watching it.
Mm-hmm. So when is it coming out?
They said sometime this year.
Okay.
That's literally what I was about to ask
you. They said that last year too. But they did just hit me up maybe a month and a half ago, and they was asking some questions about once we started doing the whole kickoff like we did for Devilreaux, the interviews and all that other stuff. So some lady had put like a PR package together. So it should be coming out this year.
Nice.
That's exciting.
So I can't obviously mention all of your roles because there's too many that you've been in. But you've had roles in The Walking Dead, True Blood, Devilreaux, so many others. But what's been the most creatively fulfilling character you've played, and why?
I'm gonna say Devilreaux because it was something that I created that came from the heart. A lot of times people, and this is nothing against anybody who has 9 to 5 or 10 to 6 or whatever you want to call it, but sometimes we find ourselves giving more to that job. I think you should try to give the same amount or more love to what you dreamed about or had faith about or prayed about more than what you doing when you just checking into a job that you're making other people money. And
Right.
for me, it wasn't just money, it was just me saying that I accomplished something that I always wanted to do. So I'm gonna say Devereaux because
That's really
Devilreaux's,
powerful.
yeah,
yeah, and it's and like again, I got tired of being killed off. So why not create something that you don't have to worry about that. If Jigsaw and can come back 10 times and he wasn't even a killer in a couple of the movies, or if Mike Myers could get thrown into a doggone tree slicer and still come back, or the junkyard thing that clamps down on
right.
why would I kill myself? These guys coming back 10, 15 times.
Yeah,
And shout out to Tony Todd and rest in peace, Tony Todd, because
for
Tony
sure.
Todd actually plays my dad in Devilreaux. So it was an honor for him to come bless the set. And that was probably my third time working with Tony. I did a movie
Really.
called Live Evil or Live Evil. And I did another movie. I gotta turn around and look at it. Death House. Death House, which was you had so many legendary horror people in Death House, and I'm sitting here looking like, how the hell I get in this movie with all these legends in there? So
Yeah,
yeah,
I actually just watched Tony Todd's last film, Final Destination, Blood Fights, this past
yeah,
week, and I was watching Devilreaux. I was like, man, I couldn't even imagine like being able to work around that guy.
yeah.
Dude's
And you know what, Tony?
top
I
shelf.
mean, in Final Destination, it actually made me sad because you can tell he was sick. Something was
Yeah,
wrong with him. And he's kind of scary in real life. I'm 6'4", and he about 6'4", 6'5", but he just has that presence and he has that voice. Even though my voice is kind of deep too, but he just has that had that
yeah.
spookiness about him that you respected. But he was one of the nicest guys you ever want to meet.
There's a voice of Venom too.
Yeah.
Iconic Venom voice.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah.
So you talked about Death House and how you had so many iconic characters that you worked with, but what is a character or an actor rather that you actually haven't worked with yet, and that you have worked with and would love to work with again?
For me, I'm not picky. As an actor or an actress, you're just happy to be working. So
Mm.
you can't. I'm not that in that stage of my life or my career. I'm like, no, I don't want to work with Brad Pitt again. I did that in Ocean's 11. You don't make those choices.
Hmm.
Uh, to me, that's kind of like blocking your blessing. How
Mm,
dare you try to say you don't want to work with somebody when somebody is giving you an opportunity to work? But the two
Yeah.
people that I have worked with that I definitely loved it. One was Danny Trejo in Seven Cemeteries. Uh,
Okay.
I didn't realize Danny was that short too. I was just like,
how short is
oh,
he?
what the hell? Because our first scene together was a fight scene, and I'm just like, damn, he looked so massive in the movies and the TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it caught me off guard. And another person that I enjoyed working with was Snoop Dogg. We did a play called Redemption of a Dog, and Snoop, it was his very first theater play, being on stage.
Mm,
And when I first got hired, and he's like, yes, Snoop is in, I'm like, Snoop is in it, doing a play? I don't know about that. But he was a true professional, and he took it serious. and whatever we needed, he was there for us.
Nice.
So those two, and I'm on a show called House of Vicious, and Tammy Roman, you're used to seeing Tammy be such a tough woman or whatnot, but you don't get to see the other side of her. Sometimes people say tough when a person's just real. And you want that, especially in this industry. You don't want nobody to just be BSing you all the time. You want somebody that's going to be honest. And because we all can agree to disagree, but you still got to be respectful towards each other.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I love when people just be honest. If I made you feel a certain way, then I expect you to tell me. And vice versa. If you made me feel some kind of way, I feel as if respectfully I can tell you without you trying to get me fired or what do they call
Trying to get back at you, revenge.
right. It's just like,
Yeah.
first of all, I would never be in a situation like that. For somebody to try to get revenge on me. If somebody has something negative to say about me, then you really and truly need to check that person. Because I pride myself on my character, my work ethic, how I treat people. I love, and I think I told you this, Blake, I'm all about being on time,
Right.
not giving anybody problems. But in the same breath, don't try to take my niceness for a weakness, because then you will see that I'm gonna check you respectfully.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And that's the bad thing. Like nowadays, people look at niceness as weakness when that's actually just how humanity should be. And it kind of shows like where we've went downhill on when people now look at that as weakness. But
Yeah,
it takes those people who stand straight like that to keep it pushing forward and keep it alive and keep it real.
You know why,
Yeah.
Blake? Because the internet, social media is the best and the worst thing ever made. Because it allows people to be something that they really aren't. People are definitely bullies behind the keyboard.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's like, so you think you can say that to me on one of my comments and not say anything back, but would you say the same thing if we were face
To your
to face?
face.
Right. And 95% of the time, the answer is no. They would not.
Yeah. Nah.
So I've seen you actually, as you're talking about, like I've seen you do some theater work. I didn't know this actually until when I dove a little deeper into your career. So do you prefer stage or screen work, and why? Which one?
I prefer stage. I
Okay.
prefer stage. I prefer anything that I can have a connection with the audience.
Right.
Because it's all about that. I started off doing plays in Columbus, Ohio. I'm originally from Dayton, Ohio. And then
Okay.
in my first play, I didn't know anything about doing theater. But I tell people, if you can do a stage play, you can do theater, you can do anything. Because it's straight up action. As soon as you hit
Right.
that stage, there's no cut. If you mess up, you got to know how to play it off.
Right.
So to get that feel, and I think that's one thing that Snoop enjoyed, to get that interaction with the audience.
Yeah.
Of course, the money and the fame or whatever you want to name it that comes with movies and TV. But for me, the real actors do plays.
Nice.
Denzel did plays. A lot of the top actors have done plays.
Yeah. And we're seeing that more and more now with Broadway being even bigger thing now that we have Hamilton and Wicked have been coming from plays and now into movies. People are more excited to go to Broadway and not even just in New York, but like all over the country.
Yeah. One of
So
my
I think that's beautiful.
I just got off a play a few months ago from the movie New Jack City. New Jack City was a very popular show popular movie back in the day. And we were on tour for like 2 years, and one of my favorite plays is a play written by Lawrence Fishburne called Riff Raff. And that was one of the biggest plays that I done when I was back in Ohio. And it was a 3-man play. True story. For years, and this is like 97, 98 when I did the play. And for years, I never knew who the third person was in the play. I only knew it was Lawrence Fishburne, and I only knew it was Heavy D. from the rapper Heavy D from Heavy D and the Boys.
Mhm.
When I did the show Bosch Legacy, I was talking to Titus, the lead of the show, and we were talking about theater. And I had told him, I said, yeah, one of my favorite plays I did was Riff Raff. And he's like, really? And I was like, yeah. And so it was a monologue in the play that was 10 minutes long that I had to do. And this
That's
was
some
like one of
Shakespeare
my
stuff
first,
right there.
yeah, it was one of my first plays. And I was so intimidated because I had just got in the industry. So I started doing the monologue. I said a lot of you guys might be surprised at what I'm about to say. And so as I was doing the monologue, just playing around with Titus, he started doing the monologue. And I'm like, I said, how do you know? How do you know that? He's like, I was also in the play with Lawrence Fishburne.
He was the
So
third person?
he was the third person.
Oh wow.
So for years, I never knew who the third person was until last year when I shot Boss Legacy.
That's crazy.
And my last day there, I brought him a copy of Riff Raff, and he could not believe it. He said, I cannot take this. I said, no. I said, I have another copy. I said, I want to give you this, and I just want to say thank you for, being professional and allow me to come onto your set because he's the lead and working with you. And he's like,
That's
man, I
great.
never forget this. Yeah. He was the third person. Remind me of back WWF days when NWO was out. Who's the next person? Oh my God, it's Sting. So it was like one of those surprises. So yeah, shout out to Titus, man.
So during that, you had mentioned that you're from Ohio. So Ohio, for people like me, yes, I see the hat as well. Or me, I am really into roller coasters. So I wanted to know if you've ever been to Cedar Point, and do you actually like roller coasters?
It's funny that you said that because my granddaughter's going to Cedar Point tomorrow on her last day at school.
Oh, wow. What's the
Yeah.
odds of that?
Yeah, Vea, she's going. Shout out to Vea. And I was like, when are you going? And so I sent her a little something, a little spending change for her to go. But my favorite roller coaster of all time was the Beast at Kings Island.
Oh,
Okay.
Beast at Kings Island. It's like in Cincinnati. It was for years. It was the number one wooden roller coaster in the world. And I remember it's like they had the commercial. It's the biggest, baddest, longest, fastest wooden roller coaster in the world. It's the Beast right here at Kings Island. So yeah, man.
Nice. Heck yeah.
And last summer I had went home, and I hadn't been to Kings Island in years. So I ended up taking my nephew, and as you get older, it's tough riding roller coasters. Oh my God. Well, because for me, you get older and things start, your mind start playing tricks on you. So over the last few years, sometimes I get panic attacks, and I don't like to feel like I'm gonna be trapped in or feel like the seatbelt. How sometimes the seatbelt gets trapped on you,
Right.
yeah.
The roller coasters that had the thing come over your head, I couldn't get on. I
Oh,
couldn't get on because I felt like it was too tight, and
okay.
I couldn't do it. But the Beast, the one, it comes over your lap. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those kind of give you your butt lift.
yeah.
Well, you were just talking about, you just kind of made a memory come back in my mind. So I was riding the Batman one year at Six Flags, and I was probably 13, 14. Rode it a million times. It was my favorite one at Six Flags. And I remember sitting in there and I went to pull it down, and they normally come through and check them. They didn't for some reason on my side, and mine didn't come down. It didn't lock all the way. And like you're starting to come up and you come immediately out. Halfway up it, I finally get to lock in. You talking about sweating and freaking out.
Yeah.
Woo, man.
Yeah, man. I used to be a roller coaster riding son of a gun. Even going back to the movie Devilreaux. So one of the scenes where I'm in a coffin, right? It's one of those old school coffins where it doesn't close like this. they had to
Mhm.
put the top part on there, right?
Mhm.
So they all knew, I'm claustrophobic, panic attacks.
Mhm.
And I was like, we got to get this now and get this over with. Because, the scenes, I bust out of the coffin type. So I'm in there. All of a sudden I hear knock, 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 knock. I don't want to hit the desk because my dog started going crazy. I hear somebody hammering. I'm like, what the
No.
hell?
No.
I
No.
bust out before they can even say action. They like, what are you doing? I said, it ain't what I'm doing. I said, who the hell is who's hammering?
Oh my God.
And one of the PAs was like, oh, it was a nail sticking out. So I had to hammer it in. So, but in my
No,
mind,
you didn't.
in my mind, they're hammering the top
You in?
with me in it.
Woo.
And they was like, nobody touched the coffin, nobody hammers anything. So, we go ahead and knock it out.
Oh goodness. So what kind of role haven't you played yet that you're just itching to take on?
A series regular.
Okay.
Regular. This the show that I'm on now, House of Vicious. I've done 2 seasons, and I actually take over the show in the 3rd season. So my thing is, and it's not about ego, bragging, or boasting. It's
Sure.
about not only believing in yourself, but having other people believe that you can lead
Mm.
a movie or a series.
Mm.
And I've been the lead in a lot of independent films or stuff like that. But the gratification of really and truly leading something that people see on TV every week. I would love to be the Rick Grimes. I would love to be Daryl Dixon.
Mm.
But most importantly, I only know how to be Vincent M. Ward. And so when you have Vincent M. Ward, you do have a leader. And you can trust me as being a series regular. And whoever's
Mm.
working, not just the actors and actresses, but anybody on set, I want them to know that they have a voice. If they have, because we've been on sets and you see people not treated nicely,
Mm.
Yeah.
or talked to rudely. And I don't like that. Just because you don't do it to me, don't mean that you should do it to somebody else.
Right.
Mhm.
So for when you have Vincent M. Ward, all that comes with that. Hey man, I don't think you should have talked to him or her like that. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's the
Much
type of
respect
leader.
to you for that.
Yeah, but that's how Rick Grimes was. He was that type of person. I
Really.
remember I remember sitting in makeup and I saw a new script and I'm looking at it, I'm like, grab the script, and the first thing you do is you looking for your character.
Right.
Right.
You're looking for it. You're looking for it. I get to the very last page, and it says Oscar dies, and
Mm.
I'm like, what? And
No.
I just threw the script right before I knew it. He came in there. Oh, Vince, I heard you're not going to be with us anymore. I'm so sorry. It was great working with you. And I was like, yeah, I just heard too. And he was like, what do you mean? I said, I just read it right now. He's like, whoa, whoa. He said, nobody told you anything? I was like, no. He said, I'll be back. Before I knew it, I had all kind of people coming in apologizing to me because somebody was supposed to tell me
Oh
that
wow.
I wasn't going that I was getting killed off.
Damn.
Wow.
So,
That's
so,
insane.
so that's what I mean by speaking up because he didn't
Right.
have to do that.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen a lot of different interviews and stuff with Andrew Lincoln. He seems like a super nice guy. I remember like as those seasons were coming out, I heard that happened to a lot of people. Like they left everybody not knowing a lot of times when their character was going to get killed off. And like there's some people that got pretty upset about it because they weren't told until like the day of shooting it.
Yeah,
It's like, oh wow.
and on top of that, it was like, I mean, in your contract, I don't know how it is for the bigger parts, the bigger stars, but I knew I was going to be around 7 or 8 episodes, right?
Hmm.
But that really doesn't mean anything because if the fans or whoever start liking you,
Right.
you can get added on. It's just like my man Irony Singleton, aka T Dog. He was only supposed to do 3 episodes. He ended up doing 3 seasons.
Oh wow, I did not know
So
that.
so I was at that point where, I'm hanging with the group more. I'm starting to do more stuff. I'm being involved more. So it's just like,
Mhm.
oh, okay, I might be around a little longer. So
And then you read the script. That's
then I read the script and got pissed. But yeah, man, and Andrew, he snapped out of that sadness and went and talked to some people.
Mhm.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, I was reading your bio, and you kind of talked a little bit about it that you've known a couple of like singers, but you used to dance, and you've won numerous dancing rewards or contests rather. But I wanted to know, do you still break it down? Like, or what do you do for? Do you still do it for fun, or is that something that's just like in the past?
You know what? Tay, if some music come on, I might cut a rug.
Yes.
Long as this ain't hurting.
Hmm.
But my first love and passion was dancing and playing basketball. And sometimes
Hmm.
I would connect the two and dance on the basketball court.
I
I
mean,
remember
it's really just choreography really for basketball, right? It's all about your moves and your dribbling and
even though I wasn't an actor, I've always had the entertainment blood in me. So my thing is I used to get a kick off of, like if I would dunk, I would come down and cabbage patch or, all types of stuff. And I would just love to hear the roar from
Mhm.
my from the fans. And I
hmm
remember this one time, shout out to my coach Jim Staley, man. We were playing this school called Colonel White, and they were tough. And I remember coming down, and my boy Scott Blue passed me the ball, and I went and I dunked on this dude named Jeff Elder. And Jeff was tall, and he could really jump high.
mm.
And the crowd went nuts. And I came down, I started doing the flavor. You know how Flavor Flav be doing his
Yeah.
thing. I started doing the Flavor Flav, and all of a sudden I heard Vinny, and it was my coach. He's like, "Get your ass over here!" I was like, "Oh boy, I'm in trouble. I did too much dancing." And he grabbed me by my arm and he looked in my face and he said, his voice changed and everything. He said, "Way to ram it down his ass." He pushed me back out there. And I just knew I was in trouble when he said Vinny. And it just
Mm.
made me feel good, man, that I didn't get in trouble.
That's great. That is great.
I can still see his face. Nah.
Lives rent free in your head, don't it?
So yeah, that was my first love and passion, dancing and basketball.
Nice. I won't get into the story. You mentioned Flavor Flav. I got dropped just a little tidbit in here. So I stayed in the same hotel one time as Flavor Flav and played pool against him in the hotel bar and took $400 from him in 2 games.
He's talented in everything he does, especially playing
Yeah.
the piano.
Yeah.
That guy is
Oh.
talented, man.
Yeah. It was Memphis in May. Him and Chuck D's down there.
Yeah, he was actually part of the swimming team for the Olympics. He sponsored.
Really?
He did a lot. Yeah, he sponsored a lot for the women Olympic swimming team.
Mm.
Nice. So we might have vaguely covered some of this, talking about theater, talking about entertainment always being in your blood. But this is, it's on my list. So what originally drew you to acting? Like, was there a defining moment when you knew you're like, this is my calling. This is what I want to do the rest of my life?
Yeah, I tell this story all the time. When I got fired from General Motors in Dayton, Ohio.
Okay.
So I
What?
got hurt. Yeah. So let me tell you the story.
Okay.
So I was working at GM. If you're from the Midwest, the job to have is working at GM. This is before acting or anything, Never
Hmm.
even thought about acting. And I got hurt on the job and they told me I couldn't come back. So I had to do something with my life. So I started working at Champ Sports, and I became the #1 salesman in the district in Dayton, Ohio. I used to call myself the Black Al Bundy, and I love working at Champs. So they was like, we want to train you as assistant manager, but you have to move to Columbus. No problem. It's like 45 minutes away. Moved there, became the #1 salesman in the district there.
Dang.
So one day the general manager came, he said, "You're doing such a great job in the company." We went out to lunch. Real cool conversation. He said, "How far you want to take it in the company?" I was like, "Man, I would like to have a position like yours one day." 2 weeks later, this dude fired me.
Oh my
What?
God.
Fired me. And I remember I'm asking my manager, I said, "Why are you doing this?" I said, "What did I do wrong?" He said, "Vince, whatever you said to the general manager, that's why I have to let you go." I wasn't even assistant manager yet. So I'm
Oh,
like,
wow.
now I'm depressed or whatnot. I'm just like, man, I got hurt on the job at GM, came out here at Champs, and now they want to let me go because of what I said, which I wasn't trying to take his job.
Right.
Three weeks later, I went and saw my very first play. And it was at it was called Living the Dream Theater. Like 20 seats in there, really small theater. I had never even seen a play before. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I can do that. So after the play, I'm talking to all the actors and actresses. And they was like, I'm geeked up. I'm telling them how much I enjoy them or whatnot. And they was like, "You should come audition." I was like, "Really? What's an audition?" I said, "What's an audition?" I didn't even know what an audition was. It's like it's like an interview. So I was like, okay. So I went in audition and I got a part. And the name of the play was Langston Hughes, The Lifestyle of Langston Hughes, and my character was Mr. Loverman. So I'm like, oh, I definitely can play that. So I started doing more plays with them because they was doing traveling plays, like the educational plays.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a month and a half later, maybe 2 months, Champs tried to give me my job back, and I told him no. I found something I love to do. So I started doing more plays, and then an independent film came up called A Symbol of Love, and I got the lead part in that. And then the movie Traffic with Michael Douglas came. It was filming in Cincinnati and Columbus, and I ended up getting a part. And from when I got that part, I told my parents I'm moving to LA. And they was like, "You don't even know anybody there." I said, "It doesn't matter. I'm moving." So I ended up moving back to Dayton from Columbus, moving back to Dayton, started working at the airport, started saving my money. And when it was time for me to move here to LA, GM cut me a check for $10,000 telling me not to come back. Because I was still fighting that because I felt like they fired me for no reason.
Wrongfully fired, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, you didn't have to tell me that because I wasn't coming back anyways.
Right.
3 years later, everybody at GM lost their job anyways.
Oh,
so
my goodness.
We might think it's a negative, might be a positive to push you into what you really and truly should be doing in life. Yeah. And I tell people all the time, I didn't pick acting picked me. And that's how I've been doing it.
Nice.
That's an amazing story.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember driving here, and this is when the Broncos or the Blazers, they were having big blowouts for their tires or something. And I had one of those trucks, and I caught a flat tire. I hadn't been 30 minutes outside of Dayton coming here. So all my stuff is in the truck. At that time I had 2 birds, 2 doves that I used to love that sat in the front seat with me. I got a hoodie on. I got on all black, and I'm trying to figure out how to change this tire. At that time, the tire was underneath the truck.
Yep.
And I didn't know how to get it down. So I have all my stuff outside, people going past me, blowing their horns, waving at me, pretending they. And I will never forget, it was this white guy, his wife, and his 2 kids in a gold Saturn with Utah license plates on there stopped and helped me, no, not help me change the tire, change my tire.
Oh, wow.
Get all my stuff back in the car. And I tried to pay him and he wouldn't take my money. And he said, good luck in Hollywood. I got a feeling you're going to do good. And he went
Nice.
about his way.
Proof there's still good people out there.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm 6'4", 250, all, you know, big black guy, bald head, and he has his family with him. His family, wife and 2 kids, didn't know me from Adam, and helped me out and would not take. He said, no, he said, if I take your money, then God won't bless me. That's what he said. And he left.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I never forget that. That's why I try to pay it forward all the time. I ain't picking up everybody now, but I'm just I try to be good to people. You know?
Heck yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. So the last thing that I want to ask you is kind of more like of a statement. So I kind of go through people's Instagrams and Facebooks, and I found a photo that I'm going to go ahead and show, and I'm going to ask you, what is this, and how can I get more? Because this is amazing. Pandemic cats. Like, COVID has 9 lives. What is this? And I just want to know what.
So during COVID, you know, again, it's you know, me being a creator, okay? So when I first moved in this neighborhood, it was right before the pandemic. It was a guy who died in his house. And come to find out, he had like 100 cats in his house. And some of them had started like eating him. Right?
Oh.
Yeah.
No, that's actually normal. That's normal for animals to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, what if that's how the pandemic was really started?
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I came up with this idea that I started writing, and that's how I came up with Pandemic Cats.
So is it something that's completely written that we'll actually get to read, or?
Hopefully, because I mean, you know, and also I remember a few years ago, this agent that I had at this time, he was like, "You want to go to this movie premiere with me?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, okay." I get there, it's packed, red carpet, paparazzi everywhere, and I'm like, "What do we come to see?" Zombie beavers. I said,
I've seen this.
I said, all these people here for something called zombie beavers? He's like, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting in there, I'm looking at this movie. I'm pissed because I'm like, you got me here for this stupid movie. And I'm sitting there just looking like, I'm cracking up the whole movie.
Yeah, you should, because that is, I know it's supposed to be a serious movie, but I was laughing the entire time I watched it.
It was hilarious. But think about that. You got zombie beavers, you got cocaine bear, you got Sharknado.
Yeah,
why not
Sharknado.
Pandemic Cats?
There's a Llamageddon. I don't know if you've heard about that, but
Llamageddon.
Llamageddon.
Yeah.
I will say this. This is only you guys gonna know this and a few other people. Speaking of llama, I got to work with the emu.
Okay.
You know what emu I'm talking about?
Yeah, so emu, I have actually chased into a trailer, and I haven't eaten emu.
No, see, I ain't doing all that. But do you know the emu?
Oh, the emu.
Liberty.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, the insurance commercial, whatever. Yeah.
So I have a commercial coming out with me, Doug, and the emu.
No way.
That is so cool.
That is great.
Yeah. And those things are dangerous.
Oh yeah, they'll kick you. I mean, their claws, their talons. Oh man. Yeah.
So that was what do they call it? Damn, I can't think of the word.
They're like a small ostrich, is what they are.
Yeah, and it looks so different without the clothes because in the commercial he has clothes on, and then you see it without the clothes. You're like, oh, that thing is raggedy.
Ew.
So yeah, I'm sharing
Oh
that with
man,
you guys. It should be probably out in the next month and a half, 2 months.
I'm
'Cause
super anxious to see this.
Yeah, we talk about halftime, so I'm sure I'm looking at it like it has to be around when football season starts.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
so looking forward to this.
Me too.
So last question, and it's kind of what I always finish off with everybody. We're big superhero nerds over here. We love Marvel and DC and stuff. So, but if you could choose to have a superpower in real life, what would you choose and why?
I would probably be Superman, just so I could just fly around and not have to pay so much for gas.
Yeah.
Being in LA, the gas damn near $6.
Oof.
And
Oof.
either Superman or Batman. He was cool, he was
Yeah.
cool. He had all the nice gadgets and was rich and all that other stuff. So Batman for the gadgets and the look and being suave. Well, Superman was handsome too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if I could combine those two,
The Superman with Batman's money.
Superman.
There
It's
you
the
go.
new movie coming out. And plus, I was just in a movie too that just came out called Big Freaking Rats. So anything, these names is possible.
Big freaking rats. All
Big
right.
Freaking Rats. In Germany, it's called Big Bad Rat.
Oh wow. Okay.
Okay.
Check out the trailer.
Okay. On
Yeah.
YouTube, I'm assuming.
Yeah, man. Big Freaking
Okay.
Rat.
So, kind of wrap this up here. You got any self promotion or plugging you want to do? Stuff you got going on?
You can check me out on the 3rd season of House of Vicious. We haven't started filming it yet, but it's coming. The Family Business, we're finishing up the 6th season of that. Devilreaux is now playing on Tubi and Amazon Prime with Big Freaking Rats. What else? Anytime, I don't think a lot of people know this, but like for Netflix or Hulu or whatever, if you put a person's name in the search, it'll come up, and all the stuff that they've been in to come up on there too.
Really? I did not know
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, so if you go on Netflix and put Vincent M Ward with the M
Mhm.
or whatever, it'll definitely come up. So there's a lot of stuff I have coming. I just can't think of everything, but my goal is to be a host on something. I love hosting and just getting out all of my projects. That's it.
Yeah.
And doing some more conventions.
Yep.
Oh,
I got
okay.
you.
So
I
yeah,
got you.
just having a good time and just trying to be a good dude, man. I got 14 grandkids, so they watch what I do now. So
For sure.
That's awesome.
yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate you taking your time out. If you have not checked out Vincent M. Ward, any of his stuff he's got going on, check it out. So we'll catch everybody
Yeah.
later.
Thanks. Peace.
Peace.